This presentation is for progressive and open-minded dentists who want to make more money while working much less. I know, what I'm about to reveal to you may sound counterintuitive, but yes, you can actually make more money practicing dentistry while working much less. In fact, in a few minutes, you'll find out how one of your colleagues, Dr. Tom Orent, went from the brink of bankruptcy to taking home a healthy six-figure income while working 40 hours a year by creating and implementing his own practice. This is what he calls Dr. Tom's Gems Gold Dozen program, and it's now worked in hundreds and hundreds of dental practices all over the United States, Canada, and Europe. The fact is that Dr. Orent has now made it his life's work to help dentists be dentists again, instead of feeling like hourly workers going non-stop all day. So keep watching this short presentation until the end to discover Dr. Orent's amazing program and meet many of the other doctors and hear their success stories following Dr. Orent's program as well. Now, before you think this is something you've heard before, I can assure you you've never seen anything like this. With Dr. Tom's Gems Gold Dozen program, you won't need to see more patients or spend a ton more money on advertising or marketing, and your practice will be a streamlined, efficient machine, which will allow you to focus on practicing the best dentistry you can. This is a new way of doing things that can change your practice quickly and continue until you retire, which by using Dr. Orent's program will be sooner than you thought possible. And you know what? It's not just about making more money. Actually, Dr. Tom likes to think of that as a nice side benefit of helping more of your patients achieve better dental health by accepting your very best option long-term dental care. And your team will win too. Now here's something you'll love about Dr. Tom's Gems Gold Dozen program. When the office makes money, they make money. After all, big team bonuses are a great motivator. Although, Dr. Tom will also give you tips on creating a winning team that is interested in more than just money, which I know you want too. One of his clients, Dr. Carter Gramp in Phoenix, was able to report that one of the biggest changes, in addition to the big increased profit, is that his staff is finally 110% on board with him and have seized responsibility to see that they reach their goals. As you'll soon see later in this presentation, there are countless benefits you'll receive with Dr. Tom's Gems Gold Dozen program. But here's the one that is most often talked about by other doctors like you. By putting Dr. Tom's Gems Gold Dozen program to work for you, you'll be helping your family at home and able to really be there for them when it counts, instead of being distracted by finances and your practice. You could be physically and emotionally present at your children's or grandchildren's Little League game, soccer game, or just be there to witness them growing up. Did you know that a recent report found that 47% of dentists divorced since starting in practice stated that their financial related stress was the major factor? Now that doesn't have to be you. I also want to tell you about Dr. Bill Donahue and his incredible transformation thanks to Dr. Tom's Gems Gold Dozen program. After 24 years as a dentist in the Air Force, Dr. Donahue and his wife were ready to settle down. He bought what he thought he wanted, a sleepy little dental practice in Parkville, Missouri. But as the practice grew, so did the outlay. He kept seeing more patients, produced more dentistry, yet he wasn't making much money, which, as he put it, just wasn't right considering how much time and money he has invested in this practice. Then he decided to join Dr. Tom's Gems Gold Dozen program. And amazing things started to happen. During the year he was being coached by Dr. Tom, they increased office production from about $700,000 a year to around $1.3 million a year. And that was in Bill's small, sleepy little dental office. Bill projected that he would have made $1.8 to $1.9 million the next year, except something wonderful happened.
If it had not been for my year with Tom and with the program, I wouldn't be where I am now. I'm now comfortable. I sold the practice for much more than I ever could have believed. One of the associates that was going to come in with me in the practice instead offered me a price I just couldn't believe. After a lot of talk, my wife and I accepted it. With that money and the amount of money that I made during the program year that I wouldn't have otherwise, we now live mortgage-free, no debt, and I'm able to enjoy myself and my pastimes.
Now, Dr. Donahue is just one of dozens of dentists across the country who've experienced an average increase in collections of $227,080 or more within 10 months of following Dr. Tom's advice and mentorship with regards to how they do business. Now, one dentist, Dr. Mark Hildahl from Minot, North Dakota, actually boosted his collections by $518,424 in under 10 months with Dr. Tom's direction. Now, admittedly, he was one of Dr. Tom's stars, but there have been many, many stars. Let me tell you that Dr. Hildahl did not have superpowers that you lack. He was not a phenom, and he didn't do anything that you can't do. And you'd probably like to know that out of all of Dr. Tom's students, the average increase in collections was $227,080. What would you do with an extra $227,080? Well, let's take a look at what some of Dr. Tom's students have done. How about $22,460 for staff increases and bonuses to reward your team? Or $50,000 cash that paid for one doctor's daughter to attend 1 year away at college? Or a 37-foot Sea Ray Sundancer motor yacht for $61,819? A pair of docs gave a $25,000 cash gift to their parents? For $16,096, another recarpeted and wallpapered his office? And finally, one lucky wife got a $13,000 5.75 karat gold and diamond Rolex bracelet for their 20th wedding anniversary. The first steps toward this sort of amazing transformation is a free 1-hour Make More Money Practicing Dentistry While Working Much Less readiness call with Dr. Tom. And during that time, he'll determine if you're a good candidate for his intensive coaching program. Only a limited number of dentists are accepted at any one time so that Dr. Tom can focus his full attention on each client. In fact, out of the 17,000 dentists who received Dr. Tom's newsletter and online courses, and the 600 he's consulted with over the past 12 years, only 252 have received the sort of in-depth, one-on-one problem solving that Dr. Tom is offering you to be a part of today. And he can only accept 21 new dentists to his innermost sanctum of private coaching members right now. And as you can imagine, with the amount of attention Dr. Orent and his team provides to each member of this elite group, it might be some time before he'll have any other openings in the future. Besides, think of what it will cost you and your practice to wait and accept continuing as is. Yes, the smartest dentists know the cost of lost opportunity, and I'd hate to see you make that same costly mistake. Like I said, the first step is your complimentary session. It's called a Make More Money Practicing Dentistry While Working Much Less readiness call. Now, that's personally with Dr. Tom to figure out if you qualify. Your session with Tom is incredibly valuable in itself, thanks to the advice he can't help but share when he's faced with a fellow dentist in need of real solutions. Your free Make More Money Practicing Dentistry While Working Much Less readiness call won't be generalizations or cookie-cutter solutions. Rather, based upon what you tell Dr. Tom about a number of very specific facets of your practice, he will build and deliver to you what he calls a roadmap to success plan. Consider it your roadmap to riches for your practice, which will be unique to your particular practice. During your call, he'll review your roadmap step by step, identifying exactly where in your practice the low-hanging fruit is, just waiting for you to pick it. Regardless of the size of your practice, if during your call he can't identify exactly where in your practice you can most easily and rapidly enjoy a minimum of $250,000 or more increase, he will at that point suggest that the Jim's Gold Dozen coaching is not best suited for you. His goal, first and foremost, is to help you discover and identify the enormous opportunity for growth and wealth from within your current practice. Regardless whether he offers and you accept an elite membership in the GG12 program. I'm going to show you how to sign up for your complimentary session in just a moment. Right now, though, let's look to your future. Imagine having complete control over your practice and your destiny. Imagine being able to work less time and make far more money. You pick and choose only the most qualified patients, take more time off each month than you work, yet still make more money than you ever did in the old days. Well, Dr. Tom can help you do just that. You see, he knows from personal experience. He's enjoyed tremendous success with his two practices. One, a model bread-and-butter private practice of general dentistry, and the other was a large, very lucrative, multi-doctor, multi-specialty practice in a heavily blue-collar, insurance-driven environment. But it wasn't always that way. The year was 1996. He was teetering on the edge of bankruptcy, not to mention completely frustrated and tied up in knots over his business. It was just the final straw after years of being burnt out, embarrassed by his income, and not gaining ground professionally or financially, even after years of hard work. Even though his CPA begged him to declare bankruptcy, he decided not to, and instead totally reinvented himself, his thinking, and his approach to practice. He came out of the other end of this process with 2 fabulously successful practices. In just 3 short years, he went from enormous debt and on the verge of financial collapse to being debt-free. During the last 5 years prior to selling his practices and being in the position of never having to work another day unless he chooses to, he limited his chair time to just 40 days a year. Yet he still managed to continue to net $250,000 annually from practice.